OMU Commissioners Meeting, 18th of October, 2018, 11:30 a.m.
Yeah, Grover's out of town, I don't know what. He's got a backup source.
I was gonna just say it's in the parking lot. Oh, okay. Baltimore and where you won't get the
I'll see it, yellow Jeep.
We're getting my dollar share and I showed up.
See, I've been, I went around, I like though.
You know, I don't know. Mandy will probably play real well. It'll be a tough one. I think Kentucky will win. Kentucky defense is just really good. You know,
They are really just
hopefully our offense will play better than they did. Our line played.
That's the same line you like.
And you know, even in South Carolina game, you couldn't control the line of scrimmage. We won that game.
He's got the first
Yeah,
half.
we go ahead and get,
Yeah,
there's nothing big here,
Their line of
nothing
scrimmage.
big here, he's gonna miss.
And that's what scared me, the second half of the South Carolina game offensively was bad, and then the Texas A&M game offensively.
You know, Benny had 102 yards and he ended up all 7 of them.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We'll begin as always with the prayer and the pledge. So let's pray. Lord, we come to you, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the community that we serve, and we ask that you would provide our commission, our leadership team with the wisdom and knowledge that would help us best serve our customers and our community. We also ask that you would bless our local, state, national leaders with wisdom and judgment and provide your guidance. We ask you to bless this food that we receive and that it would nourish us and nourish us as we do your will. We ask these things in your name. Oh, also, always, 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 Lord, watch over our employees as they're out working every day. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any agenda modifications? We had no discussion items this week. It's a fairly routine agenda, which is a good break. So move on to the consent agenda.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, our performance reports, we do have the first quarter financial. You have the detailed presentation, and Laura is here to go over the highlights for us. Take it away, Laura. I have the clip. I didn't. Sorry.
Okay, so since this is a fairly short meeting, I guess I have the opportunity to take about an hour and a half.
3 hours.
I'll still move through this fairly quickly. You guys have seen the presentation, but I'll go over some of the highlights of the presentation. If y'all have any questions, feel free to stop me at any point. As usual, we start with the consolidated electric system. Those are the 4 units that make up the consolidated electric system. And we'll start with our the overview of that system, of the total system, and our revenues at $44.7 million were above budget and above prior year. Our expenses at $35.9 million was below budget, a little bit and above prior year. They gave us a net income that was above budget, we budgeted 6.1 million, came in at 7.2 million. As far as our Elmer Smith generating station, our generation was up compared to last year, and our budget up 5%. And our expenses were below budget, above the prior year. It was below budget by 2.5%. On our wholesale marketing unit, our sales were above budget, and that primarily was due to our June prices was very favorable and drove our sales up for the quarter, and it was up nearly 9%. Our revenues were above budget at 13.3 million, up 5%. And our expenses were pretty much on target with budget, being only 1% above. As far as our retail electric system, our sales were up 6.4%, which translated into revenue was pretty much on target with budget, above prior year. And then our ECA balance is pretty much below budget and still below our limit. Our expenses were below budget at 3.5%, a little bit above prior year for the retail electric system. And the last unit of the consolidated electric system is the telecom. Our revenues were up nearly 7% above budget, and our expenses were below budget nearly 12%. That's it for the consolidated electric system. I'll move on to the water. For the water, our sales were up 4.8, almost 5%, and our revenues were below budget at 6%, and that's due to our, we budgeted the rate increase in July. It did not actually take effect until October. Our operating expenses were 9.8% below budget, and our net income, we budgeted about $39,000 net income, but we realized about $280,000 net income for the water system. As far as our G&A expenses, in total, that would include both electric and water, and pretty much below budget by nearly 13%. So in summary, our consolidated electric system net income was $1.2 million above budget. Our retail electric system revenues were pretty much on target with budget. Our wholesale market prices achieved were lower than budget, but again, that June prices resulted in favorable net income. And then our wholesale, our fuel cost at Elmer Smith were was $1.70 per megawatt hour below budget. And our telecommunications net income was $89,000 above budget. And for the water system, we were $242,000 above budget for net income. And that's all I have.
Do we know what the financial impact was to the revenue from water from that break?
You know, I don't think all that's flowed through the accounting system yet. We just got all the numbers together. It was about $360,000 total. We're gonna, our insurance deductible is $250, so we're gonna make a claim. Hopefully we'll get insurance payment on that extra $100.
So the 360 counted the loss of revenue plus the expenses?
No, not the loss of revenue, that's just the expenses.
So it's not really.
Loss of revenue would be hard to, we'd have to just compare the historical and see what that was. But you can see the water system is well above budget, even with not having the July rate increase that we had anticipated, we budgeted. So I think we're gonna be okay on that as we go forward, and all those costs do roll through. I guess that they don't all show up in the Laura's report yet, because some of those haven't been paid.
Some of the valves that were purchased
Yeah,
today.
and some are on the agenda for today.
The decision we made to burn more coal, try to burn up the coal contracts that we have?
That's working well,
It's
I
working
think.
well, it sounds like.
Yes.
We got that's how we got the extra 495,000 a month, by having that extra power to sell.
Well, the markets were good, so we were able to sell it. And our strategy, you saw the coal cost per megawatt hour was a little bit lower than the budget. I think a couple things going to that. One is we sold more megawatt hours, so some of those costs aren't strictly variable. The other thing is our buckets of blood is working, and it's helping our heat rate. So the coal that the power we generate, we're using a little bit less coal because our heat rate's improved. So we had a good quarter. You know, we're trending better than budget. In a minute, Jason will talk to you about September, which same trend. We have a good month of September, and the first half of October is, from a power marketing standpoint, it's been good because of really hot weather. Back half, we hope to just kind of hold where we were, but so we're looking pretty good so far.
I'm out of tab, that means I'm kind of cranky, you know?
I hate it when there's no tab on the
That's okay.
Hey, JT.
They delivered 9 chases
Enjoy,
to my
JT.
office about an hour ago.
You've already gone through one.
No, I ain't got any of them yet. Haven't been out for a week. Apologize because I'm so late. Y'all don't know the bluegrass thing's opening today. My mind is,
Today's a big day, huh?
yeah, big day.
Okay, next up, GM highlights. Talked about September. Temperatures were a little bit above average, about 2.5 degrees. We had a warm September. That led to about 4% on megawatt hour sales for the month of September. So September was a good month for in the market. The units ran well. You know, unit 1, we're minimizing expenditures on that. We haven't had any planned maintenance. But so it ran well. We did have to take it off for 3 days during the month for some work. Unit 2 had a forced outage for 7 days in September, and even with those, our generation was above budget because we were able to sell those megawatts into the markets. Update on KYMEA, the opening of the Louisville office, the dedication is on November the 14th. From that point forward, all the meetings that have been held in Bowling Green will now be in Louisville. They've completed, as a part of that, their logo and branding. That's the KYMEA logo up there. At the last board meeting, they talked about that. Their tagline or slogan is "Public Power for Kentucky," and their marketing slogan is "Discover the Power of Energy Options." And they trying to decide what to call themselves, so it's KYMEA. The acronym is in all caps. It's just pronounced, just say the letters. So that's completed, and they'll be rolling out. They've been at all of the members' cities, doing a video interviews with general managers and giving some shots of each community. And for us, they did a lot of footage of Elmer Smith Station that they'll be using on their website. Their website, kymea.org, it is up and running. Unless they've changed it, the first shot when you go to their website is a photo of the Owensboro riverfront. It's a pretty nice photo that Adam Paris that works for us actually took. So they're moving on. Anyone who wants to, you guys should have received your official invitations to the dedication. It's a 1 o'clock ceremony, and then there is a 4 p.m. or 6 p.m., whatever, afternoon, evening dinner cruise. Spouses are invited, so let Brittany know if you want to go. I think we need to RSVP this next week. Okay, so by Monday. If you want to spend the night, they do have a hotel, a good rate at a local hotel. And Brittany can take care of all that. Just we just need to get them a list by Monday. But that is moving forward. The only other thing I had to note on here, but just to remind you, we did extend, we gave the bidders a couple extra days on the water bids. It was to open Monday. They're opening at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we will have bids in hand this afternoon. And Russ and his folks and HDR will be jumping right on those. Okay, Jason, monthly financial.
Okay, you've all seen these
the details behind this, and I really don't have anything much different to report than what Laura did for the first 3 months. But looking through the first 4 months, through the end of September, consolidated electric system net income was 15% better than budgeted. Breaking that down into retail and wholesale, retail was about 14% above budget. Wholesale was about 42% above budget. Again, we talked about better wholesale performance through the first 4 months. Telecom is about $100,000 better than budget. The water system, about $197,000 better than budget. Projecting that out to the end of the year, taking 4 months of actuals plus 8 months of budget remaining in the year, consolidated is expected to be about 10% above budget net income. Retail is expected to be about that same 10% above budget. Wholesale about 14% above budget. And telecom and water to continue their $100,000 and $197,000 better than budget. So looks like it's definitely a good year so far, and if we meet our budget, that will continue.
I should mention Lynn is is at a conference this week, so Jason and Laura are very ably filling in while she's out. Appreciate that. Any other questions on the reports? Governance items, JT has left us, but between he and I, we reviewed all the governance items, and they are all we are in compliance with all of those different reports. We were talking about the OMU policy. Table of contents has not changed, so we stamp that one good, but we're required to review that annually. General information, I did post, and we'll talk about later, the power marketing as required delegation of duties, so that's there per the policy. And upcoming meetings, November 1st is our work session. We had planned to do the 5-year financial forecast on the 1st. We've got some work yet to do on that, just getting some numbers running. We'll be able to maybe have some of the the latest numbers in there. So we'd like to have that on the 12th. We'll have a better forecast for you. So I'm not sure what else is on the November 1 agenda, but if there's something that, if it's not meaty enough that we don't need to have it, Brittany will be letting you know. I don't remember what else we had planned for that. But November 12th, we removed that because of the KYMEA, and then I'm going to be out the end of that week. So that's actually a Monday for our regular meeting, which will be a special meeting. And that's an important meeting because we expect to have the water capital plan expansion recommendation for that day, as well as a 5-year forecast discussion.
Is there a possibility we could move that November 12th meeting to earlier in the morning?
Sure.
So I usually need to leave town on the 12th.
We had talked about that. We can move it how early do you want?
9 o'clock would suit me.
9 o'clock, is that, I think we talked with, JT was okay with that as well, because we had that discussion with him on confirm. So 9 o'clock works for us. We could do like Lewis and have it at 7, just start our morning off. He likes to kick them off, the work sessions off early. But yeah, 9 o'clock, we'll confirm.
You're not sure about the number of the first meeting, whether we'll even have one?
Yeah, we'll look at the agenda. If there's not enough on there, we'll roll that into the 12th, but we may. It always seems like something comes up that we need to have a meeting, so keep it on the calendar. With that, I think that's everything we had for open session, so.
Can I ask?
Sure.
You talked about Unit 1, and we're due to start closing that down. When do you actually start the actual, is that just, you just go in one day and turn it off? Or
For Unit 1, that's pretty much, right now, it's scheduled for its last day of operation to be May 31st of 19, so next year, so we're less than a year away.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've looked at different options, but effectively, we will shut it down. Now, if the power prices are good and the unit's running well and we don't have to spend any money on it, we may run it through June It'll help us burn coal, if it can help us get some megawatts, and run it, until it gives us a reason not to through the summer. We always talked about we might run it through the summer because, if power prices warrant it, and we don't have to spend additional maintenance dollars on it.
Our hands are tied on that by the government or some, we have to make all those.
No, that's really more toward the end of Unit 2's operation. We'll have to, so if we can do that, if it's, yeah.
Yes, it breaks.
If it breaks, then it's done,
So
because
in
we don't have
March,
any money budgeted.
If we went
to
out
fix
in
it.
March, it's done in March, is that what you're saying?
We've got money up until the end of the year. What would happen in reality? If we have a failure, let's say in March, April, maybe even in February, and we'll do the analysis, if it costs more to fix it than we can recover in revenues from operating it, then that'll be its last day.
Okay.
As of right now, we believe that it'll be routine things that we have already covered in the budget, in the maintenance budget. But we're not gonna budget any maintenance from June 1st forward. So we'll only run it then if we can run it without spending maintenance dollars on it. So we may say on June 1st, it's still running good, prices are up, let's keep on running and getting money from the market. The first day it breaks, then we're done.
I assume with your history, you'd want some kind of goodbye ceremony.
I'm gonna go out there and shed a tear, but I don't know if we'll have a ceremony or not.
Another question, those ash ponds that we were converting over, where are we with that?
With our shutdown plan, we don't have to do that conversion. That's part of the several million, 35 million, 36 million we're gonna save by not operating beyond 2023. So we're still operating in the normal way. We are doing the monitoring and the testing that's required,
Okay.
but we are not, we don't have to do the actual ash pond conversion, because when we shut Unit 2 down in 2020, then we're gonna clean all the ash out of those ponds and what they call clean close, or close by removal of all the material. So we want to do that expensive project.
Where's our ash going now after it comes out of those ponds? Where's it?
It goes
up to Hancock County, I think, for a while.
Well, right now, we've got three, we try to sell, some of it we sell. We sell the Unit 1 boiler slag, we sell about a couple barges a quarter of Unit 1 boiler slag for roofing and sandblast grits, what it goes for. The rest of the ash primarily goes in a backhaul to Peabody, to their mine in Indiana, or to our contract with the Davis County landfill.
Okay.
And we usually do that hauling to Davis County in the late fall, early winter. It helps the trucking company out because they're doing a lot of grain hauling, and then they switch and haul our ash, so it works out well.
Thanks.
So that's where it's all going. But yeah, there's really not a lot we'll need to do with that unit once we shut it down. We'll drain things and put things in safe condition, but not a lot of work that has to be done.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? So, I guess we'll need a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to KRS 618101F, pending litigation pursuant to KRS 618101C, and matters which are required to be discussed in privacy pursuant to KRS 61881K, including but not limited to KRS 61878.1CI and KRS 61872.6.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
End of OMU Commissioners Meeting, 18th of October, 2018.
Anticipated action. Not the action.
No.